All right, so everyone seems to have been begging me to tear this thing down because they don't seem to have a good one online. And, I have an iFixit kit, so I figured I might as well. I've got a screw tray here, I've got the screwdrivers over here, so I'm going to just tear it down, get some, good shots of the board. And I won't tear it down all the way to the screen because apparently someone's already done that, but I will get some high quality photos and video. I just need to make sure I have the correct security screws out, so just give me a moment. I believe it's this one. Hopefully I don't have to get my old electric screwdriver set out. All right, I found the right driver bit. Here we go. It uses a Torx T6H driver bit. So let's see if we can. That's all of the screws, I think. Hopefully there's none under these pads. There very well might be. That might be a problem. Or does the front side lift off? I'm not completely sure. I've never seen a teardown of this thing. I'm trying to be as careful as possible. All right, you just need a plastic pry tool. I had to look into it for a minute. You just need to carefully use a plastic pry tool all around the edge and lift up the clips. Devices with these clips suck, but luckily these ones are not too tight. So you can just go around the edge and lift them up. The only thing is that around the USB port they seem a bit tighter, but hopefully they are not super tight. But with these clips, you just gotta be careful because they're very fragile. All right. Yeah, you can see the clips all around in there, so I'm gonna get one of these plastic picks and bring it around for the back. I'm obviously not a professional, and I've never seen anyone tear down this device before, so it's a little rough. I'm trying not to break anything. My only concern is that, there we go. I'm just trying to go slow and get it open without damaging anything. not used to working in front of the camera. There we go. Now the back is removed. First things first, I need to remove the battery. There we go. So this is the internals. You can see the ribbon cable for the touch screen here and here. I believe that's the display ribbon, and that's the one for the digitizer. You can see I believe that's the board part number. And you can see the gyroscope, or I believe, right there. The SD card slots right here. These are on the sides here. You can see the boards for the Hall effect sticks. And the shoulder buttons are up here. Just simple switches. The ribbon cables for the wireless connectivity there. And I'm going to start disconnecting all of these so that I can pull up the board. Let's put back our Torx bit. And let's grab a proper sized Phillips. I believe it's this one. Yeah. Let's double check and make sure that's not. All right, yeah. First one is a Phillips 00 bit, which should be good for all of the screws in here. So I'm going to remove the sticks first. And they are magnetic screws, so that's nice. That makes it convenient enough. And now let's remove these out of here so we can get a good look at them. Here, there we go. And this is the Hall effect stick module. Here's the, let's see if I can get that in focus. Yep, RG505-key_V11. And I believe that's actually the manufacturing date. So this one was made in 2022 on October 31st. That's actually very interesting. I had no idea these had the manufacturing date on them. And they use an adapter board from what seems to be the normal switch style analog stick to the RG505 stick. So you could take these out and use them in a different system, and they use like a carrier board. That's very interesting. I had no idea that's the approach they would take. I'm going to set that off to the side and remove the other one as well. I'm trying to stay out of the camera, but I've never really worked around a camera before, so I'm sorry about that. Now let's remove this other stick in the same way. And I believe it's the exact same kind, except the model number is under the ribbon cable this time because it's on the other side. But they reuse the same board, I believe. Yeah, they're the same board. They just have the cables going different ways. All right, I'm setting those off to the side. Now I'm going to remove the little cables for the speakers with the plastic pry tools because I don't want to damage the casing. Because if I damage the casing, you know, I might mess up the actual things. I don't have any plastic tweezers on hand, or else I'd use those, but you know, as long as you're careful, it should be fine. I got this thing for like 15 bucks, so I don't really care that if I'm not that careful, but you know, that's not the retail price. I'm just going to use the metal tweezers for these. I know it's bad practice to use metal tweezers on a PCB, but you know, to be honest, I'm sick today. I don't know. I'm just gonna do it the fast way. So here we go. I know it's bad practice to use metal tweezers, but there we go. And now I'm gonna rotate it and do the same thing on this side. There we go. Now the speakers ribbon cables are removed. I've already removed the wireless ribbon. And then now I'm going to remove the ribbon cables for the touch screen. I believe this is not a ribbon cable. This one. I believe this is actually one of those click-in flex cables, which it is actually. Right there, you can see it. The digitizer does use a ribbon cable though, so I'm going to be very careful with that. There. Now it should be good to remove. So now for the actual screws on the motherboard. I'm going to be keeping, these screws are a different length, I believe, so make sure to keep these separate from the screws from the analog sticks, like I am in my screw tray. And, you know, there are no high quality images of this thing online. The SoC and RAM are under here, I believe, so is the eMMC storage, so I'm not going to be removing that. Mostly because I don't want to have to reapply any thermal paste or thermal pads that they may be using. And I don't have like fitted replacements, and I don't trust myself not to completely mess it up. There we go. And I believe there's one more screw on this side. Yeah, there's a screw down here on the right-hand side of the micro SD card slot. Do not forget that if you're ever tearing it down. I doubt anyone will ever use this as a reference. I hope they don't use my work as a reference. I am very much unqualified. Yeah. So I believe that's everything. All right. And you have to lift the speakers out of the housing, actually, which is a bit of a surprise. As far as I can tell, at least. Which let me see if I can. Let me see if you actually do have to lift these out of the housing, because that's a 50-50 shot. And before I forget, I'm removing the shoulder buttons, because you do actually have to remove these. They are on a single shaft and are a assembly. There we go. Like that. All of the screws have been removed, I believe. So I should be able to actually take this up. Hopefully there are no screws underneath heat shield, but these use blue like mouse click switches, which is a bit of a surprise. Yeah, there we go. I've removed the left speaker assembly. You can do that by just gently pushing on the side and pulling up. So you just have to like, this is bad practice. You shouldn't be doing it by the cable. So actually I'm gonna, yeah, there we go. I'm gonna use my plastic pry tool to remove it, like you should be. Then I'm going to carefully pull it out. Because you should be using tools for this. You should not be ripping it out with your hands. I know sometimes I'm doing that, but... And here are the speaker modules. There are no model numbers on these. I'm going to keep these over here with the analog sticks off to the side. And now they should be good to, I should be good to pry up the board. There we go. I gently lift up on the side of the casing, and under here you can see some of the buttons have fallen off because yeah, okay. Right, let me just put these back. Sorry about that. All right, there we go. Where'd the other one go? All right, so yeah, I did not think about this. The buttons that use the clicky switches on the inside, like the back buttons and the power button and volume rocker, do not have membranes, so they will fall out when you open up the casing. So that's something to keep in mind. So I will gently remove these for now. I know there's not much to watch right now, but that's because I'm trying to get a button out of like the side of the casing that fell. There we go. All right. There we go. All right, so here is the inside. You can see it uses the same model of display as the PlayStation Vita. Uses an OLED. Because I'm very certain it uses the same model of display. Now, this is what everyone's been waiting for, I'm sure. This is the main board. This is the side you've been seeing, and this is the side you haven't seen. There's not much to really see other than the contacts for the buttons. All of the sensitive internals are under here, under the heat shield. Given my best guess, I believe the SoC would be somewhere in here. Either the eMMC or the RAM is over here. I'm more inclined to believe this is where the eMMC is. This is where the RAM is, and this is where the SoC is. I'm not going to remove the heat shield, but I'm pretty sure that's where everything is. And because I haven't shown it clearly yet, here's the battery. It's a 5,000 milliamp hour, 3.7 volt, 18.5 watt hour battery. At least that's what they claim it is. I mean, that's probably accurate. The battery life on this thing is pretty good, but there's the teardown, I suppose. I'm going to put this thing back together off camera because I'm not very good on camera. Bye.